Head to Knoxville, don't be late. Baker's Live, it's gonna be great. June 5th and 6th, mark your date at Dollywood, we'll celebrate. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. Rides, fun, and meet and greet. Baker and pals, the crew's so sweet. Get ready for laughs, cheers, and thrills. Knoxville's the place, it's giving chills. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. June 5th and 6th, don't miss the fun. Meet Baker and friends, it's second to none. Baker and friends, it's second to
Hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, what if any you might be, and welcome to day 8 in the Natalie Cochran case, closing arguments, and why's my camera this low? Well, I don't know. How should I know? It's only my channel. Closing arguments should be today after a rebuttal that shouldn't be that long. They have been hashing out jury instructions, boilerplate. So you didn't miss anything if you were looking for it. If you look in the top of the chat, our wonderful mod, Jemima, have made bingo cards. There won't be any prizes. If you want to participate, go download a bingo map, and you can then play along. You will get random words. It can be cancer, humor log, unbridled passion. The free word is magic 8 ball. Magic 8 ball. You need 5 in a row. Either cross or this way. They can't go up, down, Jemima. I don't know. Jemima makes the rules. I am just a pawn in her and Jamie's evil plans to take over YouTube. And yes, Brandon, I put on my fancy shirt today because it's closing arguments. So we should. It was the only one I had that is clean. Then you go hit the link and participate. Oh, they need either an X or a full card. No one row. What do you think this is? This is not your mama's bingo. This is Jemima's bingo. You need either an X or a full card. Sometimes it would be nice if I knew what I was doing. An X on blackout. You don't get it? Well, neither does I, as you can clearly tell. But you need an X or a full card. You'll get as you can see in the top, there will be a bingo card number. If you yell bingo, I think she can check it if it's the right number you have. and you do have a bingo. The only thing you'll win is the joy of being the bink master. You'll be the binkster in the Cochran case. I don't know. I'm so bad at doing anything for my members. So what? I don't. I'll. I don't know. You'll be the binkster. You use 003. But the binkster will be the one who wins with either a cross or a blackout card. Don't ask me why. I might have eaten paint chips when I was a kid. Now I have to delete this. But if you want a card, top of the screen, top of the chat, there is a link where you can go and get yourself a bingo card. Oh, Jemima has some funny stickers if someone, yeah. Oh. If anyone wants a bingo binkster sticker and you win, Jemima might ship someone out to you. 2 people have 003. Oh my. Then you can share the binkster title. But let's see how it goes. Last time I effed everything up and I shipped 2 packages out for the winners because I didn't follow the own rules. I did. But we'll figure it out. Don't ask me. I'm just here. Oh, what I do on Twitter, don't do like me. I'm an idiot. I was talking to Bernie Sanders today, and I wasn't discussing. I was just telling him he was wrong because of Denmark. It's nothing to do with my channel. As someone said from Denmark, because I also use it for Danish things, she said, really like your coverage, but you're an idiot on politics. And is there something that could be more true? No, I am an idiot. But I do sometimes, even Jamie agrees, sometimes I do great coverage of trials. So let's leave politics where it belongs, in your houses. Politics, religion, and whatever things you do in your bedroom stays in your house. On this channel, we go hard, have fun, and discuss cases because no one agrees. You hit the link and it'll give you. I don't know anything. Everyone is getting 003. Oh, everyone. Well, I can hit the link and see if I get something. Let's see what I get. I get 003 as well. Everyone is getting a 003. Is it because I shared the wrong link, so it can only give you a 003? Could it be the link that's wrong that only goes to 003? It's the link you put in Discord. Well, I'll take this link off, and you can try and see if you can share one. Everyone try this link instead. This one. Well, you don't have to participate in in bingo. It's only if you want to play, you can play. It's closing arguments can be quite long, quite boring. So that's why we try to spice it up a little bit, and Jemima really likes to do it. The new link worked. Thank you so much. Oh, Hyacinth. How fitting that a Brit got 007. I didn't click the link. I don't check links. What about the other 46 of you who don't play bingo? Or I don't know what you're asking. But what are we expecting today for the rebuttal? Someone to come in and argue against that it wasn't really clear how he passed away. I think that's the biggest hurdle, and all of that depends on if the jury picked up on that yesterday, because in reality, yesterday was kind of a wash for me. The first 3 hours was wasted. That guy who had the bad audio, who I didn't understand what his testimony was, other than because of the degradation of the body, the composition of the body, you couldn't tell anything, and there was no. I didn't feel like they hit why the glucose levels were fluxing that much. I needed a better explanation for that one. As I said in my video this morning, I still put her at like 85-90% chance of being found guilty, just because juries are juries. I still don't believe the state have proven it. But as many people who come in here say, well, I saw on another channel. Yeah, but it wasn't said in chat. No, but I saw a documentary. Yeah, that shouldn't influence anything, because it's not part of the trial. But a lot of people will just pick up on something and say, well, because she did this, or because she was scrunching her face, or whatever it is, she probably did it. That's not how it's supposed to be, but that is the reality of trials. All the reasonable doubt and all the stuff that we normally hail goes right out the window the second the jury gets in there, because you will have bias, you will have preconceived notions. So I really didn't think that the defense did well yesterday. Someone was talking about it on Twitter, where I said I needed someone to talk about the roids. I really didn't. I'm not buying the roid story. I didn't see a picture of him in a gym flexing. I didn't see anything other than she said, and the kid said, well, he took a lot of supplements. What was his daily routine? Was he at the gym twice a day for 2 hours every day? We've heard he's a strongman, he's a Spartan warrior, he's a bodybuilder. All three of those are different types of sports. You can't do all three of them, because strongman, you bulk up. Bodybuilding, you'll also bulk, but you'll try and stay leaner, because you need to bulk to build muscle, but you won't get as fat as strongmen, because strongmen need the cushion on the body to take all the punishment. I don't believe they went hard enough on that. It's a great explanation for me, because I know bodybuilding, I know strongman, I know the good supplements you can take. But most of you didn't know anything about it. For me, I was just, oh yeah, sure. That's a great explanation. He was doing roids and insulin, probably some HGH, some Tren, some maybe some Deca, some Anavar. And people will sit out there and think, what's Deca? Isn't that somewhere that makes meat? So, yeah, maybe he did all three of them really badly, because there's no strong bodybuilders and there's no slim strongmen. Well, that's not completely true, but yeah. that's why if he's a Spartan warrior is kind of a hybrid. So that could be it. And as a 38-year-old man, he could be. You have what's it called, TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. He could have been using it because his body was deteriorating because of the black mold. That's another thing I wanted. I wanted the medical records for his black mold and for his seizures. I really wanted to see that because I think that would have helped. But again, what do I know? I am a stupid baker, and they are lawyers, but I think that would have been better. Oh, Kim, I'm sorry. What if all the show and tell to her friends was a trial run, and then with the right amount of insulin, she could have said, see, it happened before, but give him a bit too much, and it did off him. What about if she was an Aquarius? I don't know. Could be the same answer. All I know is I'm not convinced she dosed him with insulin because the insulin bottles I saw still had insulin in them. I don't think you can crash a man that size like that. There's no explanation why he doesn't react to her injecting him. Again, for the state, well, she used to inject him with roids and the insulin because she's a nurse, she's a pharmacist, so she knew about the doses. She chose that day to inject him with a lethal dose. They should have played along with the bodybuilding angle then. Claim she's the one who always injected him, and that day she chose to give him more. That's why he didn't react. We have 3 experts testifying there was no instant crash. You don't just keel over after insulin. You'll feel like hell, but you won't pass out instantly. Why didn't he react? We always talk about why didn't she call the cops? Why didn't she call the ambulance? Why didn't he do anything? Because it's not an instant knockout drug. So again, reasonable doubt. And no matter if we like her or don't like her, we have to treat her as the same way as someone we like. And the state will always bear the burden of proof. They have said a lot of things in the opening statement I don't think they even got close to. And we're talking about life. Would you send a woman away for life? It doesn't have anything to do with the Ponzi scheme. Based on what you have seen in this trial, would you bear on your conscience sending her away for life? With the evidence you have been given, not what you saw on Lawyer Lee, not what you have heard me discuss about roids, not what you have seen on gossip rumors and innuendos. By the way, you were wrong. She have had cancer. She's actually treated for cancer right now, but it wasn't discovered at that time. Just a little reminder. That's my problem. Could you send someone to prison for life based on the evidence? Not, well, she probably did it. Hand on your heart. And that's the test you should have when you are jurying with us online. Could you put her in prison for life and look yourself in the mirror tomorrow? That's always the thing. I am an Aquarius. If she injected him, don't she risk being convicted of involuntary? Yes, and as I got it, they are putting lesser included in, which is BS. That's what I mean. It's all what if. That's what if that. Yeah, and that's the problem because we're sitting here saying, why don't they look at this? Because we have this think tank of people watching this and saying, well, I have doubt about this, I have doubt about that, and then we start to try and fill the holes. And it gets really interesting. But in the end, I feel both sides are lacking, but I just couldn't send her to prison. Hey, Reby. No, but I still think they will convict her. Yeah, that's my problem too. If she used insulin as the weapon, why would she keep the evidence after the fact? Again, one of those questions that reasonable minds would inquire. I like that they asked yesterday, if insulin is such a great murder weapon, why didn't she have him cremated? That's one of those things where I'm sitting here thinking, again, she's the smartest, dumbest criminal in the world. She got away with it. Just send him to the big incinerator, and they will never, ever find out. So she's the smartest, dumbest criminal. She keeps the evidence. She gets away with it, and then she doesn't destroy the body. It's. I don't know. Prosecution haven't proven anything, but I'm diabetic, and the whole insulin sugar levels doesn't add up for me. I don't know enough. That's one of the things I have to learn from you people, because I don't know anything about that. And I didn't feel like any side gave me sufficient knowledge to take because this will come down to the jury will have to sit in there and say, is the top dip clear evidence of insulin poisoning? And again, these 12 people, maybe one of them have diabetes and can talk about, well, I know from my blood sugar readings, I can see this, and when I was a kid, before we had it regulated, I had trouble where I spiked and I dipped. But if you don't have that, if you don't have a diabetic who can talk about, well, that blood sugar level is okay. I don't know the difference between a 68 and 168. Probably because I'm really bad at math. But just feel like at this point, I would like to kind of have an idea of the two leading arguments for and against, instead of just having this, well, I must believe it has something to do with insulin because of blood glucose. I don't do that. Jemima knows we're sucker for stickers. I need a sticker for my padlock for the gym. I never remember where it is. It's a bit scary. I'm sure we all have some toxic chemical in our house that the state could say you killed someone with that. Yeah, but if you use bleach, that's pretty clear. It's more when it's these medications. Hey, Fedorowski. Fedorowski, is your channel under attack? Well, you can't lose track because it happens bi-monthly. Hey, Helen from Holland. Both are okay-ish. They needed to have Wolf and Brimley's Spectre understand as an expert diabetes witness. Lost opportunity. Why don't they use psychics more in courts? Because I go around YouTube at odd hours, and I know card reading and horoscopes. There's a lot of views in it. Why don't the state call some medium and have them talk to the deceased and say, deceased, and say, hey, how did it happen? Maybe we should get as experts have two different psychic mediums who can sit there and say, well, he tells me that he accidentally OD'd himself. He's really, really sorry to his wife and family because he didn't want them to be in trial. And the state can say, well, someone clearly didn't factor in Uranus because he was just transmitting to me that she did it, yelling, die, MFer, die. It could be just as good as medical experts. Yeah, they probably did. Well, I don't know if Lawyer Lee was there during the jury Maybe a question for her. My eyes are so bad I need to guess at some of the long bingo words. Where's my magnifying glass when I need it? Father Time always wins. And the problem is they didn't really explain his sugar levels well enough to make a case. If you aren't diabetic, it wasn't very clear. No, because it was just, and one of them even said, well, one of the numbers are wrong. Then why couldn't two numbers be wrong? Did they prove to me one is a finger test and another one is, I don't know what you measure blood glucose with? It's trust me, bro. Hey, Dodo. Miss Cleo could be, yes. I understand channeling well from Brimley. I think she should be. Then every person who has insulin in their house for their diabetic family member is a suspect in an unknown. Technically, yes. But go around your house and see how much is potentially lethal. Everyday household items. Really, I don't know if you have, we have not every year, but sometimes we have these cases where people mixes their cleaning supplies. And that's a really fun way to make chlorine gas. That's what they used on the Western Front during the First World Kerfuffle. That's really not good to put into your lungs. It'll chew them up pretty well. And that's just two normal cleaning products that people don't know you shouldn't mix. Jewel from Gardner, Massachusetts is available. Oh, let's get her there. Oh, we could get that lady down in Florida who made the car crash. She said she had a crystal ball and was either an alien or from the future. Yeah, but they didn't explain that really well what that means. I know a lot of bodybuilders have it because they use HGH, which is human growth hormone. I imagine getting Dorian Yates on the stand, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall, Satronas Sagauskas, the guy yelling, "Yeah, baby!" Get one of them up there, probably allowing them to plead to get out of jail free. And I don't know any of these what supplements they are. Most of them claim clean, but get one of them up there and testify how people unalive all the time in those sports because of their enlarged heart. This one I have a very, very tough time to tell. I think it'll depend a lot on the closing arguments. Yeah, well, we can have fun while we're waiting because court is 18 minutes late. Could you imagine trying to fit a strongman into that stand? It's they are great. Jemima, can you play bingo and watch listen on her phone, or do I need a second device? Never done it before. I would like to know more about what sugar levels look like in some of these alternate diagnoses of the doctor yesterday spoke about. Yeah, and I they just had that chart, and what does it mean? That's why I say yesterday was kind of a wash for me. Yeah, they don't have to prove anything. Nope. But again, I want them to put more doubt in the head of the jury because they was just more like, well, it could have been something else. Give me two other things it could have been. I think he's what I've seen and heard, he should be one of the nicest people. But if you are, how tall is he? He's like, is he 7 foot or 6'8" or something like that? And you weigh 400 pounds. You probably don't get harassed much, so you're probably quite a nice fella. Well, get out there before closing argument starts. Sue screenshotted and wrote them down the last time. Seems the easiest way for her. Never bet anything on a jury. No, it's not even 50-50 when you go in front of a jury. It's 75-25 on the best of days. Should be able to play and listen. It'll open in your browser. More than likely, they had a line in his neck, and or even through an IV, they can draw blood. Depending on how you draw blood from the catheter, you can get inaccurate results. Well, Gerda, nothing has happened, so we're just spilling time. Oh, he lives near your sister. I think he's cool. Hey, Iris, did you make it home well? What's the next case? I'm not going to cover that case. That Nick started doing it yesterday. If you were here yesterday, at the end, I talked about another stabulation out of Florida, 17-year-old kid who might have unalived both his father and his mother with a year between. Apparently, he claims he's not a psycho, and then he stabulates his mom, claims she fell on the knife. There's also a bench trial with Judge Bev. I know wordy today. I don't know if it's going to be televised, if we can get it, and it's not off of Court TV. But if it's an open feed, Court TV website. But if it's an open feed that we can get to, she will be having a bench trial with a lady who allegedly caused her husband to have a heart attack because they were fighting over a divorce, is how I see it. She claims she just fell over and she tried doing CPR. The daughter says she came down, saw her slapping him, and then he just fell over and he had a massive heart attack because probably the excitement. So one of these two cases, Nick will be doing the California case. Well, welcome to the North. I can't answer those questions. I don't know what it is, and I don't. But again, probably because no one saw foul play. I think that's one of those. Well, I don't laugh that much. That's what people say. I have a stone face, and it's hard to tell when I'm not making fun. I don't know. It's my Danish face. As they say in, I believe it was in China, you needed two faces: your own face and a cold face. Oh, I got the possible stickers from Jemima. I can show that because, again, we're just filling time. One of them I probably shouldn't be showing. But these are apparently the stickers that this channel have made Jemima make as stickers. This one's good. Oh, little Molly. I miss her. Don't be a drama llama. Turning on Twit today. Never a truer statement has been said. I really don't get these people who get up every morning and just start arguing with each other. I do it with the idiots who claim that, well, the evidence says no, it doesn't. But these people who are just fighting constantly and, well, I don't want to listen to people anymore. I want to keep peace, and then the next day they start fighting again. Oh, the Judge Bev case apparently isn't with Judge Bev. Thank you, Stephen, for updating that one. Hey, Anya.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Haley.
And we are continuing in the trial of State versus Cochran. We have been working busily on instructions, and I have a draft that I have handed out. Hopefully, Mr. Truman,
Yeah, Nick is covering that one.
you've got a copy there.
And it's West Coast, so that will end at 1 a.m. my time. So I like it when we don't go further than Central. No, she used to be a pharmacist. She wasn't a pharmacist at the time because she stopped working as a pharmacist and was working with him in their business Ponzi scheme thing.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I'm not rushing you. We'll have some time to discuss it. I just want to make sure you got your copy.
I did. Yes, sir.
HOA rules: no dogs allowed.
All right. Any matters to take up at this time before we bring out the
I'm not good
jury
at
and
poker.
continue?
Yes, Your Honor.
My best result is I came
Okay,
third in a poker tournament.
we'll fire that
And I
up.
have a small little. I like gambling too much.
You go with. Yeah, and I will carry.
Oh, interesting. I like him. Yeah, we want to know what's it
All right.
Chickerfield today? He is a nicest guy. Kim, you have a doity mind. Money G. What's another good? See you, Gina. What's another good breakfast place? I've had those mini biscuits with chicken from Chickerfield. They're quite good. Other than that, I don't even think that McDonald's serves breakfast anymore in Denmark. I actually like that. Was it a bacon, eggs, and something? It's been a long time since I had one. I like those ones. Yeah, it's dangerous. Bojangles. The McGriddle. Never had that one. No, it was called Mac. Just think it was Mac breakfast or something, and you could have one where it was just like a bun with a patty, and then there was an egg, bacon one. Egg. No, it's McMuffin. The egg McMuffin. That's the name. I like that one. Bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits is good. Yeah, the egg McMuffin. But I don't think we can get those in Denmark anymore. Haven't seen them in a long time. So maybe they are out. Who is she? She should go to the casino. Is this the mom? Oh, look at Lena. Say, "Oh, I don't eat junk food." Well, you haven't lived until you had a Baconator with a Yingling driving down the road with Valhalla, singing along to Taylor Swift songs. That's the thing. And I don't like the Monster Burger, or what it's called at Carl's Jr. That should be the same as the Baconator. Feel it. I don't know if because it's a different recipe, but just feel like it's way more greasy. Oh, that sounds good. We never had the McRib in Denmark. They had a long break, so I don't know. Maybe they went back, typed it up, gave it to them, and they then read it and are doing the final conference. I could eat one too. Best breakfast is a full English. I'm not a big fan of baked tomatoes. Yeah, I do like I like a strawberry shake. I have to agree. Mm. No, that's that's not for me. I like a fresh tomato. Just bite into it. Don't bake them. It's not good. Well, you can have your coffee. The McDonald's coffee is kind of like the McDonald's apple pie. It's always nuclear reactor hot or cold. There's never that sweet spot where, oh, it's drinkable now. Well, then fried. I don't like heated tomatoes. Well, in a tomato sauce and stuff like that, but I don't like when people put a tomato on the grill or something like that. Ugh. McDonald's occasionally has a steak, egg, and cheese bagel. We don't really have. They've done them. I don't know if you have them, but we have what's
All right,
called.
now, Mr. Truman, if you'd take some time to select the documents that you wish to present.
McCafe is the name.
Handing them to defense counsel as we
Wait,
speak.
but that's more for the coffee, and
Okay,
you
please.
can have like a macaron or something like that. It's a bacon, egg, and cheese and a fresh round roll from the local deli. Because I didn't get my coffee ready before the stream because I was doing some other stuff and watching Meme Copium. But so I'm a little. Normally, I'll have my protein shake and my coffee. Well, I make my coffee and I'll drink my protein shake. And now I don't have that taste of sugar in my mouth. So this is when I do bad stuff. Hey, Ditz Pickle. I like the black pudding. If it's the one, the blood pudding. Oh, that's good. I haven't had it since I was a kid. With syrup on it. Oh, that was good Christmas food. Yeah, shut up, Judge. We're talking breakfast food. Well, he normally brings breakfast. We have a can of haggis in the pantry. My father-in-law got it in the gift book for Christmas. I think haggis was probably tastes great. It's just because you know what's in it, but it's the same stuff that's in sausages. So, grilled pineapple. I never had that. Einstein bagels has a good breakfast. I think I've had one, maybe two bagels in my life. See you later. Go make that. No. Okay. let's start over. Brandon decided to show up.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
I always forget to pull that down. I'll do it again because I'm an idiot.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
I was told I needed please like and subscribe if new people are here. So that's why I made that, because I don't like the, hey everyone, please like and subscribe and tell your friends about it. I don't know. It just comes off so corny. So I did what I was told, but I did it in my way. If you just came in, we have bingo, bingo, bingo. Link is on top of the chat. Rules are: the free space is the magic 8-ball. To win, you need either a cross or a blackout. Lawyers must say the word in their closing, and if you win, say bingo, followed by your card number. Example, bingo 001. I never had the white blood pudding. I don't think there's brain in it, but sausage skins are just intestines. That's how it is. Well, our black pudding isn't that. It's not that savory. It's just a very Christmassy thing. I don't know the herbs and spices they put in. It's very Christmassy. Hey, Carmen. We hope you have a wonderful day as well. I'll wait until they get going so I can sneak out. Oh, yeah, by the way, happy birthday, Valhalla. No, I don't need a breakfast. I just need a protein shake because it'll hold me over until dinner. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4:30 in the afternoon, so I don't need breakfast. Your birthday Thursday. I'm hanging out here, so what are we doing? Maybe the 17-year-old stabulator, because now we found out it's not an on Bev case, the other one. So if the 17-year-old stabulator is showing, I'm thinking we're switching to that one after this one. So if it starts today, as soon as they go on verdict watch, we'll probably do something. Yeah, it's almost dinner time. Yeah. No, the magic 8-ball is the free space. Well, tell your judge to call this judge and hurry him up. Well, as long as it wasn't a mediocre chicken and parm from D&E Pizza.
All right.
Don't trust him. It's always his birthday. It's been a long time since I've seen Toy. She hates me now. I know it. It was this judge. That's why it's the free. It's the free spot. Because no one is gonna say magic 8-ball probably because it was the judge mentioning it. They should be. I think he was just showing them the exhibits that he wanted to use during the rebuttal, and they are arguing over that. Bet you he is going to try and put financial documents in there. I like Greek food. Well, I don't like tzatziki, but I like Greek food. That's yummy. You're talking about bacon sarnies. That's not nice. I never had a chicken masala. I only had Indian food once in my life. It's not really a thing in Denmark. And when I left the restaurant, I saw their health report, and they had the worst rating you could have. But that was fine. So probably not that bad. Chicken souvlaki. Oh, that's good. But I like Italian and Greek food is good. Not a big fan of Spanish food. Too much seafood. I don't know, because a Ponzi scheme, that's probably a federal trial, and I don't know how the rules are. Oh, can we get going? Yeah, and that's the kids left, and she probably should have too. I once saw a health report stating the employees did not have access to warm water after visiting toilet. I did not eat there again. It builds up character and your immune system eating in places like that. I have had many a kebab walking home from the city in Copenhagen, in those small dodgy places on Nørrebrogade. Trust me. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Last a little longer on the John. Yeah, it gives flavor. Oh, how nice. Yeah. Closing arguments, and then we're going to send the jury home. I really don't get the concept, but I would like to try it. 85 on the federal. Okay. So that's 8.5 plus 9 years. It's not Indian, it's using masala wine for the sauce. I thought chicken masala was. I don't know that case. It does. It lines it with iron. Valhalla, you have eaten worse in the military. Giggity, giggity, giggity. Masala, not masala. Well, I'll mispronounce everything. Chicken tikka masala. There should be a rule: no two things could have the same name or even closely sounding names. It's the same with night. Is it a guy in an armor, or is it dark outside? Oh, coming in hot. Chicken Marissa. So you're going to yell at the chicken until it's cooked. That's a new way to make chicken. Who was it that found the the West Indies? It was an Italian guy, so it's the same. Yeah, and I wouldn't mess up as much as I do. Why not some duck a la McKinley? Is that when she cries over Valhalla drowning the ducks in beer? I don't want to take your time, so I'm going to bring you in at 10 so you don't have to sit and wait around. Hmm. Yeah, Jason Chen was 47 minutes. That was a pretty open and close case. This case isn't that open and close. That's this is the gal in the. Oh, thank you, Shelley. Let's just see this. You can do this while we're waiting. Apparently, this is from Natalie Cochran, sent to the judge after the indictment in the death of Michael B. Cochran. Honorable Judge Burnside, I'm writing to request an appointment of counsel. I have heard through second-hand report that I have been indicted in the passing of my husband. I adamantly assert my innocence in the matter and want to exercise my right to a speedy trial. As I'm sure you are aware, I am incarcerated and bankrupt. If possible, I would like for Robert Dunlap Esquire to represent me. He is willing and has represented me before, so he could easily step in. There's evidence to exonerate me, and I am anxious to put this matter to rest once and for all. If possible, please allow my arraignment to be over video conference. I require a special heart machine that the county jail may not be able to accommodate. This can be confirmed with SFF Hazelton. I appreciate your consideration of my request and of your time. So she's also a court writer. Court writer. La da 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 da. Court writer. La da dee da dee. No, Nightbot will but I don't know. Have I set chat to the only thing I put chat in is subscriber only. Daddy needs some subs. So but anyone who is subscribed can participate in the Nightbot game. Look at all these big swashers today. Hey, Sinead. Someone make me a chicken pot pie with dark meat chicken, and I'll let you come on my commemorative birthday party flight. I never had a pot pie. Isn't that except this letter was to the point and relevant. Yeah, that was if every court writer could be like this. I don't know. I like that. Prepare to disappoint me. 3%. Hey, Nina Canadian. No, they came in as, is there anything before we get ready? And that's an hour ago. What's a joke? That pot is something you can. You should. Yes. Swasia is how we determine who is cool on this channel.
Okay. Do you remember any description as far as the size of these men?
Yeah, I remember the size of them. I know, I could tell by the Swazier who the one was, by meeting him different times up there at Paula's. I knew the Swazier is, get that word right, Swazier?
Okay. I don't know what that word means, so I'm sorry.
Oh, his style, his
Oh,
walk, his talk.
okay.
His style, his walk, his talk, Swasia. Hey, FD. You can't be high Swasia every day. No. Roger knew exactly what he was saying. Roger, he's what you would probably call a prophet. He was the guy who said, "Stay off the devil's letters, only Bud Light and a little bit of the crack." That's how he's been living since the 80s, and he's doing fine. Gets up, mows the lawn at the golf course every day, goes home, drinks some Bud Light, and do some recreational crack smoking. Yeah, puff out your chest and show your Swasia. Oh, Jess. Yesterday I got mad because we had 3 hours of that babbling idiot who couldn't answer a question, and now we don't have anything. I saw someone comment on it saying that it was one of the better exposés or better documentaries about it. But it's still they leave out some evidence. But it's the first one that mentioned the feds.
All right, are we ready for the jury now? State
No,
prepared?
Your Honor, we are only halfway through these documents. A lot of them appear to be unsubstantiated, irrelevant, but we still have to go through about half the documents.
Well, we've got to go forward, and so I don't want to leave the jury in there much longer. Perhaps you can review them and do it on the fly.
Well, Your Honor, unfortunately, we would have to go through each and every document as they're being testified to. We need to view them.
Let me ask you this. Have you been provided with these documents?
We honestly don't know, Your Honor. We were provided with 100,000 files. I can't tell if we did or not, and we have not reviewed these prior to the presentation.
Let me ask Mr. Truman, did the state provide the defense with these documents?
We did. This is the download of the defendant's phone. We separated them, and we've already agreed not to submit all of the downloads of the phone messages that are.
Like we talked about, probably because they thought they would have a great case. And if she takes the stand, she will also have to take the cross-examination. And even though you are the most innocent person in the world, if you mess up, you can condemn yourself. I always say I wouldn't recommend taking the stand, even for an innocent person. I have seen more people talk their way into prison than out of prison.
are not already in evidence. So it's down to this stack of a few right there. The state does have a suggestion. In order to expedite this, we
I just saw that Carrie, isn't that her name? Said it was a good one.
can probably eliminate some of these, and that could save some time.
Okay.
No, closing arguments only. If the word is said in closing argument, you can cross it off. And you need either a cross or a full plate.
You got, what number are you on? 11. Good, we'll eliminate 11. I said we'll eliminate 11. 12. No.
Eliminated a few, but,
All right. I'm going to hold you to that, Mr. Selden. I'm going to time 5 minutes.
okay.
Okay. No, X or full plate is what she said. It's because they now will bring in the rebuttal, and apparently they're going to use text messages from her phone. And this guy said, "Well, I can't remember seeing that before. We got 100,000 files," which is also a penis move to do to bury your opposition in files. And technically, yes, they should read each and every piece of paper, but we also know they don't reach, especially with 100,000 files, they don't read every piece of paper. So a little bit underhanded, maybe. I don't know. No, you didn't hear correctly. They were submitted, but he hadn't read them. Yeah, I can't say the D word. An X Valhalla. Sorry. I know you are very, very much into your different types of crosses. Don't walk the talk, walk the swasher. It's the only way to live. Yeah, I'm gonna lose it soon. You should just put word on screen on, and then come back in 4 hours and say, "Oh, they did 5 minutes in court. We can watch that." Yeah, but it's also if it hasn't been brought up and they haven't indicated they're going to use it. Again, we know that in a lot of cases, especially cases as weak as this one, they will just bury you in paperwork. And it's a tactic. It's not illegal, but it's a penis move. Because they didn't know what they were just told what he was. If you go back and listen, the judge said, "Can you present the documents you intend to show?" And then they objected to it, went to a sidebar, had that long break, came back and said, "We only read half of it." And yeah. It's just because we want to go, we know we can see the finish line. It's not like week 4 in the Karen Reed case where you're just thinking it's going to be another one of those days. Today we are jumping at the bit. Let us just, I don't care about this rebuttal. Let's get to the meat and the potatoes. 2 45-minute closing arguments. Bingo, bango. Let's get ready to tango. Send the jury out and come back with a verdict at some point. But it's her phone download. They should have gone through that with a fine-tuned comb and tapped it out. Look at Jemima. I love the prosecution. No, they haven't even done rebuttal yet. Well, what the mouth is full of. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why people go looking for fights on the. I was responding to a person today, and someone sent something to me, and I answered, and another one who's apparently also in the orbit of the Karen Reed also answered. And now this trial, this thread which has nothing to do with Karen Reed, has turned into all the. I don't know which factions are fighting each other.
All right, are we ready for the jury now?
Maybe
Your Honor,
turn
we
off
only
your Twitch
have
sweat.
one exhibit to review, if we could have 1 minute.
That's not
All
5
right,
minutes.
1 minute.
And again, you don't have to ask for a minute. You just speed read it and then say, oh, by the way, objection. No, he said, we did, Your Honor. Yeah, but he can see the end, and he has a jury that's been there for 8 days. He want to get out there too. If we can speed it up and they can keep their closing arguments as short as the opening statements, this trial is over today. They can get it by, what's it now? It's 11 o'clock your time.
All right, bring in the jury bailiff.
Come back at 1, do closing argument from both sides in 45 minutes, get it to them by 2:30, get a verdict in by maybe 5. Yeah.
I'll ask the defense to call their next witness, and presumably you'll rest.
I don't know about you, but I don't like these butterfly glasses. It looks like I'm trying to be a hip librarian in a school. I just don't like these butterfly glasses.
Your Honor, while we're waiting for the jury to come in, we would like, especially, we would like copies of these to go through as they're being testified to.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Good morning. I'm glad to see that you're still smiling. I apologize for the extreme delays. We have not been sitting around talking about West Virginia basketball or Marshall football or even politics. The attorneys and I have been working diligently since 8:30 this morning.
Go Miners.
To try to streamline this trial and
Mountaineers.
get it
Go
in a
Mountaineers.
posture for your consideration. I appreciate your patience so much. We are now in a position to go forward. If you will recall, we are still on the defense case in chief. So I will ask Mr. Selden to please call the defendant's next witness.
Your Honor, we have no other witnesses. We are resting the defense case.
All right, thank you. Let me inquire of the state if there will be a case in rebuttal.
Your Honor, the state does have one witness to call in rebuttal.
All right, please call your witness.
State recalls Robert Heinzman.
Mr. Heinzman, I remind you, you are still under oath. You may have a seat.
He was the lead detective who seemed very weak on this case, right?
You may proceed, Mr. Truman.
Everyone remember, this is not closing. No bingo, ingo yet. I'll do it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Heinzman,
This guy kind of crumpled on the cross.
hand you what's been, at this point, it's part of State's Exhibit 3. Ask you to review that as well as the second page, which is also an abstract from.
You might request that we get copies so we can look at them while they're being testified to. If we could simply copy them very quickly.
Does the state have copies available?
We do not. I mean, we can make them, but
Okay. I'll ask Ms. Brown Bailey or the deputy to make the copies real quick. How many do we need?
he's the only
Second,
one who
yeah.
wants one, I guess.
One. Okay.
Don't you have electronic cases in the US? More and more cases in Denmark, they will just have one big, or they'll have it on a file. So when they, if they want to present evidence, normally it's always the prosecutor who presents evidence if we need something on the big screen. But the defense will say, "Can you bring up page 256?" And they'll just bring it up. It's one big PDF file that, and sometimes it's in cases against PDF files, and you'll just punch in 256. And if anyone is saying, "I'm going to ask a question from the interrogation report," which is on page 122.
Your Honor, and for the court's information, Mr. Victor will be cross-examining this witness.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he did well. But then they'll just say to the judge, "Well, we'll be on page 122, paragraph 3, if it's something like a police report they're going to read from." It's way easier than all of this. Oh, we're going to run around and we have to have overhead projectors. And no, the court has a system, so you just put in your HDMI cable and it'll project to the screens. But we're going to get Mr. Victor. You like the physique, right? You look like you work out. Yeah, why can't they just email it over to him? He's sitting right next to them. Just, it's 20 pages or how much? Well, it's the same evidence you have on both sides. You have to do a full disclosure of all the evidence like you do in every other case, but you just don't have 45 stacks of paper. I've been in a case where it was financial crimes. Financial crimes are so paper heavy because they're sitting with binders of financial records and all that crap. And they have to sit and flip through it. And no, it's the binder 3. Oh, binder 3. And it's way easier just saying, well, it's page 1238. The case documents in Denmark must be provided by the state. And it has to be the same documents provided to the state, the defense, and the court. They can't do anything. They can't spring any surprises. They can't come and say, "Oh, by the way, go to page 500. Well, I only have 499. Well, we just put it in there." That won't be allowed. Everyone has to have the exact same copy of the case. Yeah, it's again, it's just bad mojo. He should have waited bringing them down. She's wearing a curry yellow, and I'm wearing a pink. She's wearing my old gang colors.
With our luck, the copier may have run out of paper. That's right.
Well, that's another thing. Oh, I can keep it running because nothing's happening. That's another thing I forgot that I wanted yesterday. Read the text in full. I have tried to read it when they put it up because I can see it a little better than you can. And there's so much lacking context to the different text they brought up. So they should have, yesterday, they should have gotten the old text back on the screen, read them in full, saying, so here you're actually talking about going on a hunting trip. Gracias. Well, it's a special day. I was thinking, closing arguments, I better dress up for it. No, I grabbed it out of the closet and I thought, oh, it's a long time since I've had a collar on. Everyone did. Well, it's like the blue dress, gold dress, or whatever it was. Get some copies. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Bum, bum, bum.
Okay, go ahead.
You previously testified that you
I'm going to make myself some
and
coffee.
Tim Bledsoe, both retired troopers, were the lead investigators in the two cases, correct?
That's correct.
As part of your investigation, did you interview the defendant's children?
No, we did not.
Why not?
At the time of the investigation, and more specifically between March and June, March is when we began the investigation. June is when we executed a search warrant on the defendant's residence. During that period, we were collecting information from third-party records. We were collecting information from witnesses, from financial institutions. And there was nothing in that 3-month period to indicate that there would be a need to speak to the children. The second and most important thing was their age. They were very young at the time. One was 10 or 11 and one was 13. And we were looking at the business of the Cochrans. We were looking at the Cochrans individually. So there was no indication or any reason to speak to the children. And then the final reason we wouldn't speak to the children is we've been long taught in law enforcement and investigations that you don't speak to children under the age of 18. And there's some tolerance there with 16, 17, 18-year-olds, but you don't speak to anyone that young without a parent's permission or without an attorney present. So we would not, by normal operating procedures, have spoken to the children.
You were in the courtroom when the two children testified on behalf of the defendant, correct?
I was.
And in their testimony, they indicated to you who actually ran the company businesses.
I did hear that testimony, yes.
And what were the children saying as to who was controlling the Cochran's businesses?
The children put a lot of responsibility or.
I'm going to object to this. The jury heard the evidence. The jury can draw whatever conclusions from the children's testimony. This witness does not need to editorialize on that.
Sustained.
You're being recalled as a witness for the purpose of rebutting the testimony provided by the children. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. Thank you. Hand you an abstract from what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 3. Ask you to look at that as well as a second page, also an abstract of what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 3. Recognize those documents?
I do.
What are they?
These are text message communications between the defendant, Ms. Cochran, and Stephanie Hamilton.
Have those back, please. At 10:15, the defendant sends a text to Stephanie Hamilton. Can you put that in some kind of context as what's going on there?
Natalie Cochran is offering Stephanie Hamilton an opportunity to invest in a government contract dealing with medical
The
equipment.
document speaks for itself. That's, again, we don't need any editorialization as to what these documents are,
Could
what they speak of.
the state respond to that?
Sure.
That's not accurate. Those are statements taken and they don't say anything about a contract. It says there are two today. Two what? I think it's fair to put that in context with the witness's investigation and what he found that meant.
And for that matter, these documents do not indicate any interlocutor of Natalie Cochran. We have no idea who this is.
Well, I think we do need some explanation from the witness, and so I'll allow it. I'll overrule the objection. You may proceed, Mr. Truman.
Thank you.
Ms. Cochran is offering an opportunity to invest in two contracts or to consult on these contracts. They deal with surgical masks and betadine swabs, medical equipment. Ms. Hamilton was in the medical field.
Okay. Here's another text, and this is also a download from the defendant's phone, correct?
Yes, and from Ms. Hamilton's phone.
Correct. And this is April 26th of 2019.
Yes.
And the defendant responds, that means next Friday is payday.
I'm going to object to this, Your Honor. This is way out past Michael Cochran's death. This document is irrelevant.
What is the date on this?
The date,
Yes.
April 26th. And the purpose of this testimony is to show that the defendant continued to run the business as she had before.
I'll allow it. Overrule.
Thank you. Trying to next hand you an abstract from State's Exhibit 2. Could you identify that?
Yes.
What is it?
This is a text message between Natalie Cochran and Chris Davis on February the 6th, 2019.
Judge, I think we really need to approach the bench at this point.
All right.
This is going well. I think that's BS that they are allowed to put in text like that because there's no proof to it. Well, trust me, bro. I downloaded her phone. They do in every case. You've seen it in multiple cases where they have a headset on, is to listen into sidebars. Jamie, come on now. Bingo is only for closing arguments. No, it doesn't prove anything. And I don't know if they believe that her running the Ponzi scheme in any way shows he didn't know about it. That's get to the point where he didn't know anything and where she said, oh, by the way, I'm going to unalive him because he found out.
February 6, 2019 at 9:27. That's a text from the defendant to whom?
Chris Davis.
we'll have these marked collectively, but if you could take a review of those documents.
Why did he put that up there? What does that have to do with anything? Last thing we want to do is negotiate a resolution. Something this could look bad in the event they sue. Sounds good. We will have 1.8 billion in hand Wednesday. DFAS and bank confirmed. What does this prove?
No.
These right here.
Right.
Number 35.
What's the number?
34.
It's
and
the financial
35.
case. Yeah, you're right, Kim.
Or 35.
Hey,
and
Pimpinella.
35 and 36.
So those are not going to be admitted?
These, well, the ones that you marked previously are not. It's this one in its stead.
Okay, well, it's going to be 36, 7, because I can't.
That's
see it.
fine. Sure.
Okay. This is defendant's exhibit number 37, Your Honor.
State.
Thank
I
you.
mean, states, I'm sorry.
States 37.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Stage 37, marked for identification. Can you tell us what that is?
These are text messages between Natalie Cochran and Wendy Poteet.
Who's Wendy Poteet?
Wendy Poteet would be the sister of Natalie Cochran.
And how did you acquire those documents?
These documents, they're cell phone text message documents. These were recovered from Natalie Cochran's cell phone subsequent to the search warrant executed at her residence. The cell phone is given to a forensic examiner and they do an electronic download of all the data on the cell phone. And these are pages from that extract.
And that was from a search warrant?
Yes, sir.
Now, we don't necessarily have to go through all of these. Let's just put a few up here to show where this is going.
Which one is this?
4. Oops, can't get anything out of that.
What does this say? Because they don't tell it. Easy, I know your mind is running a million miles a minute. Close your eyes for a while. You have to make sure I've got to keep your strength up. What does this prove? Why doesn't he focus on it? What is this?
Once again, these are text messages between the defendant and her sister,
Yes.
and she's offering a contract.
Wendy Poteet was already an investor victim of the contracts, and she is.
Object to the characterization investment victim. We don't know anything about Ms. Poteet.
All right, that's a fair objection if you'll refrain from speaking of her as a victim,
Yes,
please.
Your Honor.
Continue.
Wendy Poteet was an investor, and this is reference to a contract that she is owed money on. And Ms. Cochran is advising her that she's going to be paid by certified check.
Are we going to get to the part where she chose to inject insulin into his body knowingly because he had found out about the Ponzi scheme and now was trying to spill the beans? Her victimizing her friend's family isn't proof of anything. It has nothing to do with this case. It's a retrial of the Ponzi scheme case. She's already been convicted in this. This judge have already set boundaries for this. He should do it again and say, if you are not going to bring in anything relevant in rebuttal, because this has nothing to do with rebuttal of the kids as they claimed. There's no indication in any of this that she was lying to Michael. Did they do a phone dump on Michael's phone? I hope that the jury can see it.
This is a text message.
Your Honor, can we please have this identified? Which document?
Number 5.
Text message.
No, they don't prove anything. They just claim because she was texting someone, he didn't know. But that's not how you show he didn't know. You have to show he's not on any bank statements. He didn't spend any of the money. Again, if he had been alive, he would be sitting right next to her in prison. The state would read all of this as he's clearly part of this, but he's using her as a front person. That's we all know that's how the feds would have run this case if he had been alive, because they had both been charged in the Ponzi scheme.
Again, between Natalie Cochran and Wendy Poteet, where Natalie is offering additional contracts for Wendy to invest in on February 18th of 2019.
So she keeps the Ponzi scheme going. Yeah, that doesn't prove he wasn't part of it while he was alive. But it also doesn't prove that she unalived him and she was afraid to continue doing it because she was afraid to be found out.
Is there a pattern emerging here in terms of the defendant's conduct of the business?
Object to this question as argumentative.
Or we could just go through slide by slide.
Overruled. Continue.
Is there?
It's the lead investigator who is there to rebut the kids, and they are just reworking the financial crimes.
These contracts were dated after the date that Michael Cochran collapsed on February 6th. So this is a continuation of
Zach and Jamie has a love-hate relationship. That's why he's yelling at her.
these illegal business operations, the investment, the Ponzi scheme we'd spoken about. This is a continuation of those after Michael's not available.
This time for sure. Please.
This will be State's Exhibit number 38, Your Honor.
Very well.
Before I go south with these.
Yeah, but they're not rebutting what the kids said. The kids said he ran all of it and she didn't run any of it. This is just proving she reached out. We know this. We have people testifying she was the one reaching out to them. We also have people testifying Michael was the one talking to them. That's this is only because they want to turn it into a Ponzi scheme case 2.0. If you steal, you kill. That is the motive for the state, which is a BS thing, but it'll work with the jury, I believe.
This is one.
They claimed that he was about to send an attachment. Well, it came out kind of like no evidence has been provided.
Let me give that back. Take this. Hand you what's been marked for identification is States 38, please.
No, he tried to editorialize what the kids said, and he's not allowed to do that.
You recognize that?
I do. I do.
What is it?
Which number is it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
For the,
Yes. Yeah. 22, 23, 10,
10.
13, 14, 16, 19, 20, 21.
Okay, so now we're looking at 10.
Collectively at the moment.
Okay, all right.
They're not all available, but exhibits 10 through 23 or tabs 10 through 23. What is that?
These are all text messages specifically between Natalie Cochran and Michael Cochran, ranging from August of 2018 to February 5th of 2019.
5th or 6th?
These end on the 5th, February 5th of 2019.
This is page 2 of number 11. Who's that to and from?
This text message block is Natalie Cochran's text message that she has sent to Michael Cochran.
$3.5 million should post from Pay Simple. 300,000 should post Wednesday. 1.2 million DOD Thursday. 724 Monday. Okay.
Do those numbers mean anything to you?
These are dollar amounts that she has told Michael are owed to them and their business for a contract, government contract that they have sold or obtained, been awarded would be the correct term. She's.
Are you done with that one?
You want me to finish, Mr. Truman?
Please, yes.
The date of this text is on August 27th. And with these dollar amounts, she's provided other dates in which these dollar amounts will be posting. The very first entry, 3.45 million, should post tonight at midnight. That would be on August 27th. And then there's timestamps applied to the other amounts in those texts.
13.
This is the first where you could say, okay, did those money go in?
And this
Did
one
he know
from
about this?
October 25th of 18.
This is a text from Natalie Cochran to Michael Cochran where she's talking about getting off the phone with government entities and that the audit, which was presented as a reason why none of the contracts could be paid out, she is telling him at this time that the audit is complete. There's some additional administrative stuff that needs to take place, and that all monies from all those contracts that he believed were being awarded and due will be available by Monday, October 29th.
You heard young Mr. Cochran testify about a 50 caliber contract, did you not?
I did.
This is number 14. And this is, again, a text. You recognize the phone number as to where that text is coming from?
Yes, that's Natalie Cochran's phone number.
And is that the only 50 caliber order in your investigation that you saw, or were there others?
That is the only one. This is a reference to a text again to Michael about that 50 caliber government contract order, where she is telling Michael that they, being whatever entity the contract was fulfilled with,
Defense have rested.
Want to double that 50 caliber order, and it would cost them $244 million and yield a return of $378 million.
19. This one from January 30th, 2019. Who is that one from at 334?
Again, this text is from Natalie Cochran to Michael Cochran. In this text, this is following the government shutdown, to put it in context. And she is telling Michael that they have all the money being resent tomorrow, and they should be available to them by Monday at the latest. And then the feds will begin sending money on Monday. This was dated January 30th of 2019. February 1st was the date that the investors had been told that the monies would be released post government shutdown.
Here's one from the 31st.
This is, again, a text from Natalie Cochran to Michael Cochran, where she is telling him that she is on the phone with Bank of America. And this is in reference to the monies that were supposedly inbound. And that's why she's talking with Bank of America.
I'm going to object on lack of knowledge.
All right, that's fair. Sustained.
As part of your investigation, did you download records indicating when the defendant was using her cell phone to make phone calls?
Yes.
Did you compare the text messaging with the downloads to see if in fact
She's going to do closing.
Phone with the bank?
No,
there were instances where she claimed to be on the phone and she wasn't, and there were instances where she,
Object, this is a broad.
I would try that.
Okay.
This isn't a rebuttal. This is just more, let us get the money in there, please. This is all we have. You have to find her guilty because she's a thief. These two last text messages, if there's no context around it and Victor can't talk about physique, then they're pretty good to prove that he might not know about the monies. But other than that, most of it is just, could be anything.
21.
No, this is a week before.
What's DFAS?
DFAS is the Defense Finance Accounting Service. It's a federal government entity that deals with defense finance.
And
I know they said even if it came in at 7, it would show till 9. I already spoke to DFAS. They are going to start paying contracts with furthest back plus the 75%. Today, we should see payments start populating on Wednesday. We will also be receiving a paper check for the boats, homes, etc. Fines that Betsy's authorized that are cutting it this Friday. So they're selling the boats and the homes? Boats and homes, boats and homes. But riddle me this. If she's claiming she's doing all of these contracts and she sold a ton of weapons, he didn't know anything about it. So you just went out and bought 12 billion worth of 50 cals. Yeah, I talked to Johnny. You know Johnny down there. He's the guy, homeless guy, sleeping on the Walmart parking lot. And he got me some 50 cals.
2 days before Michael collapsed, there's a reference to the organization you just mentioned. Who's Betsy?
Betsy was earlier referenced in testimony to Betsy Britland. Betsy was a character created by Natalie Cochran to be a government employee that she communicated with regarding government contracts on the regular. She would ask, or when asked about contracts, she had told Michael that her point of contact was Betsy Britland with DFAS or the U.S. Treasury.
That's not in the exhibit. The witness is testifying from some other unidentified documents. I object.
Overruled.
Go ahead.
So Betsy Britland, who did not exist, this is a reference to Natalie claiming to have spoken with Betsy regarding the contracts and the whereabouts of the award money that should be coming to the contracts. And this text is, again, to Michael Cochran.
22. and on 2/4 at 3:01, 2/4/19 at 3:01.
Again, this again is a text message from Natalie Cochran to Michael Cochran, assuring him that all 4 wire transfers and money deposits were en route, and that they potentially could show up that day on February the 4th. And she references 4.8 regarding millions of dollars that should arrive in the morning, and 23.8 million tomorrow, the next day at some time.
From your review of the text messages between the defendant and Michael Cochran, the defendant and Wendy Poteet, the defendant and the Davises, the defendant and Stephanie Hamilton, was there a pattern emerging there?
Yes, there was.
And was always deception to all of those parties, was it not?
Judge, now the prosecutor is testifying. I object.
Fair point.
Sustained.
The text messages that we've reviewed in summary fashion, did they indicate a pattern to you?
They did.
What is that pattern?
That Michael Cochran was being told the exact same information that the investors were being told. Those who were relying on money to be paid back to them, the information that was given to them is the exact information that was being given to Michael Cochran.
And that all derived from the defendant, correct?
Yes.
Could I have just a moment, please?
Sure.
Was this performative so he could show someone her reply? This was only to remind you all she stole a lot of money.
Also referenced
Didn't tell him about it.
To
Never ever proved his motive. He never ever
Michael
got into
utilizing the defendant's phone and sending messages as a guise that it was her sending them. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oops, I need another marker.
I need another marker. Oh.
This is State's Exhibit number 39, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you. And what's been marked for identification is State's 39. Ask you if you could identify that.
You want me to identify it?
What?
Yes. This is a photograph of a text message from the cell phone of Matt McCormick. It's a text message stream between Matt McCormick and Michael Cochran.
What time is the text message from Michael Cochran?
There are 2 dates here. Do you want
the second one?
On February 6th at 1:39 p.m., there is a text message that was sent from.
Object to this. This has nothing to do with my client's statement. This is hearsay.
We don't think so.
This is a statement between 2 third parties. One is dead. The other one is a third party.
Care to respond, Mr. Drew?
Yes, sir. This is a text from Michael Cochran's phone when all the evidence says Michael Cochran was totally unconscious and lying on a couch.
I'll allow it. Overruled. Go ahead.
This is a text message at 1:39 p.m. from Michael Cochran's phone to Matt McCormick's phone, in which he is telling Mr. McCormick that he would be available to see him in a few days, reference a firearm transaction.
From you.
Can you verify that text wasn't written earlier, got hold up, and bounced on the net? How was the reception at the house?
Your investigation, and from all the evidence to date, is there any possible way that Michael Cochran could have sent that text?
No, not at 1:39 p.m.
Why not?
We have a timestamped photograph taken by Natalie Cochran at approximately 12:30 of Michael Cochran laying on the floor at their residence. And then soon after, we have witness testimony of individuals at their house with him in his unresponsive state during that time frame.
Your Honor, at this point, the state moves into evidence. I can't remember the numbers. Is it 37, 8, and 9?
38, 39.
Please.
And I'll preserve the defense objections previously made. Are there further objections that you wish to place on the record?
No, Your Honor, all of which I do object.
All right. I'm going to admit
because
State's
he was
Exhibits
passed out.
37, 38,
Maybe
and
he woke up
39
sent it.
over the defense objections.
She will be convicted. I think so.
All right. Cross-examination, Mr. Victor.
Come on, Penguin.
Mr. Heinzman, the purpose of your testimony here today is to demonstrate that Michael Cochran, and this is an old story, was duped by my client, Natalie Cochran, and didn't know anything about these contracts, right?
Yes.
No. And for that matter, the other message there that you are telling the jury about is that Natalie Cochran was involved in the illicit business of contracts. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Would you agree with me, sir, that throughout this trial, as you were sitting here, we have conceded that Natalie Cochran was a bad girl and she was dealing in those federal contracts? Did we?
Ladies, does it work when you hear, "Are you a bad girl?" with a East German accent?
Concede it or not?
Did you concede to it? I don't know who we is.
Listen carefully. Is it true that Natalie Cochran has conceded that she was involved in a fraudulent scheme?
Yes, she did.
So that shouldn't be any surprise for you when you look at all these documents, that she is involved in these transactions.
The purpose of my testimony was to illustrate that Michael Cochran was not involved in the illicit transaction.
Michael Cochran wasn't involved in it. All right. I'm going to ask you.
He even makes the penguin noises like Danny DeVito.
Looking at one of the examples.
Yeah, he's Polish.
I do not recall which
You
number
probably
it
should.
was. I think it's somewhere around 5 or 6. But you testified about this document, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
That document was telling you that on August the 30th, and I presume 2018, $1.2 million was going to be posted, right? See it there?
On August 30th, yes.
Yeah. Posted in the account of Mr. and Mrs. Cochran, right?
Yes.
Then on September the 4th, I'm sorry, the 3rd, $724,000 was going to be posted. May not be the 3rd because it's going to be a holiday, but it was going to be posted in the Cochran's account, right?
Yes.
And then $2.56 million next Friday was going to be posted in their account, right?
Yes.
Well, comes August 28th, no money in the account, right?
Correct.
Comes August 29th, no money in the account.
Correct.
Comes the end of September, no money in the account, right? Right?
Yes.
Yes. Well, come about that $2.6 million next Friday, so that's probably sometime, I don't know, sometime at the beginning of September, right? No $2.6 million coming.
Correct.
And Mr. Cochran doesn't know that. He is waiting for about $4 million, right? Right?
The last date put out on these is December. So between August 27th and December, it was over $300 million that he was
I
told
asked
was
you
due.
about these numbers: 300,000, $1.2 million, $724,000, $2.6 million. There's nothing about December there, is there?
December 21st on the next one down.
Yeah, next one down. That's not what he asked about.
$131 million on 12.
That's not what he
I
asked
didn't ask you
about.
that, sir. I asked you about the top.
Okay.
The exhibit. There's about $4 million coming to Michael Cochran, to his account, right?
To the business. Yes.
So the business where Michael Cochran is a minority owner, right?
No.
No? So the business where he has a joint account, right? Yes, sir. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. $4 million coming to my account, and I don't know anything about it?
That is correct.
And-
Well, he knows what's been told to him here
Okay.
about the
Well,
$4 million.
Fine. Then let me ask you this. We are now at the beginning of October. That $4 million didn't materialize itself. He is not asking questions, is he?
He absolutely is. The defendant had
is?
produced an audit
Show me
ruse.
any of these documents, sir.
An audit ruse.
Show me any of these documents, these exhibits. when he is asking any questions about where is that $4 million?
We have.
Where is that $4 million? Show me any of these documents here that were admitted into the evidence, not some stuff about we did our investigation. Show me in any of these documents.
If you'll hand the documents back, I'll review them to see if I can find that.
You can review them all you want.
But I know that throughout the text messages that were reviewed, 1,224 pages of text messages were
I don't care about this.
numerous times that Mr. Cochran asked.
You don't get to talk about what is not admitted in court. Then it's up to the state to put that in there. You're editorializing. I hate when the police are shady. I don't care if she did it. You should not be pulling tricks like this. You are tainting the jury. You are prejudicing the jury against her by using shady methods like this because you didn't find the smoking gun, and now you're put on the stand to fill the jury's heads with what you believe is correct. Prove it or shut up, and the judge should tell them. And I hate it in this case. I hate it in every case. Police take liberties, and they shouldn't.
Jury,
Where the
Mr.
money
Heinzman,
was.
Mr. Heinzman, there's no question pending. I'm asking you to show this jury from these documents that Michael doesn't know, that Michael somehow is not surprised that the $4 million that was supposed to come to him at the beginning of September is not there. Show me.
He had been
Show
told
the
it
jury.
wasn't coming because of an
No,
audit.
no, sir. You look at these documents, show me if there is anything in these documents that indicate that Michael Cochran is or is not surprised by not getting $4 million.
Your Honor, do me take the time to review all these documents? And
Well, if you can, go ahead, Mr. Heinzman.
I'll move quickly.
All right.
And I'm looking specifically for where is that $4 million that was supposed to come in September?
Would you restate your question?
Well, show me in any of these documents when Michael Cochran is asking Natalie, or anybody for that matter, where is that $4 million, or, well, 300,000, 3.4, well, there's more than that. 300,000, $1.2 million, $724,000, and $2.56 million. Where is it? It was supposed to be deposited. Now it's September, it's October, it's November. Where on earth is that money? Show me any of these documents indicating his inquiry about that.
Okay. On page 19, he's referencing the 1.6 million, having to wait for that. On
Okay.
page 20, when she says she's on the phone with Bank of America, he's asking, are we 1,000%? Because she's told him at that point that the money is at Bank of America.
Okay.
On page 21, he says, this is February 4th, the day that 3 days after he expected the money, he tells her that the money isn't there. She provides additional excuses for that. And then on page 22, dated February 4th again, she's telling him that the 88 million and 297 million will possibly show up today.
Not she's telling him.
4.8 million in the morning and 23.8 tomorrow. Again, another delay, and his response is shit.
All right. Okay. Show me.
You want me to go through the rest of the documents?
Hold on. Show me when there is going to be $108 million to be deposited in the account on October the 12th,
It's
Find the
right there on
microphone.
August 27th on the text that's being provided.
and $131 million to be deposited in November and in December.
Yes, it's right there on the text.
And he doesn't know that this money ain't there?
No, he believes this money is coming. What's significant about August 27th?
No, I didn't ask you. You seriously?
I can explain.
Hold on, sir.
Okay.
Are you seriously contending before this jury that he doesn't know that 200 and
No, they need to cut it down and just show that he's editorializing because he doesn't have any hard evidence.
$39 million is not there.
I'm telling
Yes or
this
no, sir?
jury that
Yes or
Michael
no?
Cochran does not know.
Yes or
because
no,
he
Your
believes
Honor?
that money is
Your
coming.
Honor, I'm sorry. It's a yes or no?
Well, he's trying to explain, and I think we should let the witness explain his answer. Go ahead, Mr. Heinzman.
Michael Cochran has been led to believe that all this money is coming to their accounts for government contracts, and it never comes.
And I presume that in September, October, November, and December, and January, he lives in the same household as Natalie Cochran, right?
He does, yes.
He certainly doesn't live on another planet. He can talk to Natalie Cochran about these contracts on a daily basis. He can talk to her, can he not?
Yeah, he does.
And he does. And he, on August 20, September, honey, where's that $8 million or $4 million? And she's lying to him, right? Is that your testimony?
And she says, we're getting hit with an audit. Can you believe it?
On September 5th, she's telling him, oh, no, that money is coming, right? On September 6th, 7th, 8th, 30th, October, he is somehow duped by it. And he's so blind to it that he will not ask his wife, where is $238 million? And he naively and blindly believes that this money is going to be there and it ain't there. Is that what you're testifying to, Detective?
Absolutely.
All right.
I wouldn't. I believe if you're in business together, you're co-signing on bank accounts, you must know if you're helping spending the money. I know that it's always the stuff that they pull in when you watch mob movies. Well, I didn't know where the money was coming from. They were working together on the business. They had contact with customers together. I don't buy that they didn't know.
Show me. There's nothing in these documents that talks about Michael's computer. Is there? Michael
not in these documents.
arranging for these contracts on his computer as he's sitting in the bedroom while Natalie is watching TV and the kid is between them. Those documents don't deal with any computer operations of Michael Cochran, right?
No, they do not.
Okay. Those documents did not deal with any personal contact that Michael Cochran had with the investors, including his own mother, correct?
These documents do not.
These documents do not deal with any checks that he wrote, as we saw in some of the exhibits here, on behalf of the companies, correct?
Correct.
For either services rendered or for consulting services, etc., right? These
Correct.
documents don't show that. These documents don't, these documents do not address any issues that, the detectives are coming and, maybe they should talk to the kids. Is there anything about that anywhere?
No, that wouldn't be anything like that.
All right. These documents, of course, do not deal, again, in the same old story, with the lifestyle of the Cochrans, right?
These documents do not.
Honey, I'm taking you to Paris and I'm going to get you a Louis Vuitton bag for God only knows how many thousands of dollars because we have somebody else's money to live high on a hog, right? These documents.
To live high on a hog. I love this guy.
For God only knows how many thousands of dollars because we have somebody else's money to live high on a hog, right? These documents don't deal with this. Do they?
Not that depiction, no.
No, not that depiction. Well, they don't talk about any of the wealth that the Cochrans, plural, have acquired through the illegal schemes and enjoyed for a long time, right?
These documents do not.
These documents don't deal with anything about Michael Cochran's health. Honey, I feel bad today, I'm declining, or anything of that nature.
There are references to him being stressed because of the lack of money.
He is stressed because he doesn't know.
In these documents I'm referring to.
He's like in a National Enquirer. We want to know, right? He wants to know, right?
He wants to know where the money is that they've earned
wants to know.
through what he believed was legitimately awarded government contracts.
Right. And yet he goes to a boat sale and buys himself 2 boats at the same time, right?
I don't know if he went to a boat sale. I know that he did purchase ATVs, boats, vehicles,
Right.
things of that nature that both he and his wife picked out based on text messages we read, or by her encouragement to make purchases, because she had led him to believe that they had all
Sure,
this
she let him
wealth.
believe. And you truly believe it.
Absolutely.
All right. These documents do not show, these documents that deal with Natalie only, not Michael, whether he was copied on them. Do they?
So would you ask that again?
No, you look at any of these documents where Natalie is talking to Ms. Petit or Chris Davis, where Mr. Cochran is not involved. Is there any indication that he is copied on those conversations?
Some of them, yes.
Yeah. So some of this he knows, right?
Some of it, but
Yeah.
not in the context that you're framing it.
Not in this context, of course. Okay. Now, when he talks on some of those messages, the jury will probably see that those conversations take place after Michael's death, right?
Yes.
So he cannot contract anything, Mr. Heinzman, because unfortunately he's passed away, right? Right?
Yes.
And Natalie Cochran is continuing the scheme that she was involved in, but it has nothing to do with what Michael knew and what he didn't know because he's dead, right?
No, it supports the fact.
I know he's Polish and not German, but his accent is no. I spent a year in the Balkans with Polish people. He sounds nothing like Polish people when he's speaking English. He sounds so German to me. And back then, he would be studying in Russian probably at the University of Warsaw, because it will have been before the wall fell. But his accent is so German to me.
That it was her scheme because she continued it on.
Well,
I think his last name is Victor. I can't remember his first name.
one of those exhibits, Michael asked, no, 16. Michael asked directly to pull out $9,500. From where?
From their personal account.
To do what with it?
To have some cash on hand.
And that $9,500 came from where? They didn't have any income, independent income. That must have come from the investors, right?
That or rescue loans.
Well, is it possible that since they have no income, independent income, you testified that Natalie wasn't working as a pharmacist anymore, and Michael's job was an IT man, not really defined, that he's pulling $9,500 in cash that must have come from the investors, right?
Yes.
So he pulls $9,500 that he considers money earned, right?
From previous contracts.
If he believes that, if he's so scrupulously honest, well, he must believe that this is the money that they've already earned on those contracts, right?
Hey,
right. He's
evidence.
not aware that they're illicit proceeds. He thinks they're legitimate proceeds.
Right.
Right.
What does $9,500 tell you as an investigator of money laundering?
Well, that
cash. I'm going to ask $9,500 cash. What does that tell you? You're the expert here on money laundering.
Sure. In this context, it means nothing. In the context that you're framing it, it references currency transaction reports. Those are a federal requirement under the Bank Secrecy Act.
Well, let me ask you this.
Let me guess. You can't withdraw more than $10,000. Then you have to declare the purpose for it or something like that. I think we have. I can't remember how low it is in Denmark now, but it's really low.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask a very specific question.
Well, the witness should be permitted to answer. Go
Explain
ahead,
the
Mr.
$10,000 cash.
The Bank Secrecy Act requires financial institutions to file what's called a currency transaction report for any transaction involving $10,000 of U.S. currency, that'd be cash or coin, in or out of a financial institution. It is a derivative of the Patriot Act and the war on terrorism, so they want to track large amounts of cash. So if a withdrawal from a financial institution were to occur above $10,000, the bank would be required to complete a currency transaction report and document that transaction. In this case, however.
Well, I'm
the
sorry. Now,
Cochrans
now
had
let me,
cash
I'm
inside
sorry,
a
I'm sorry,
safe.
Your Honor.
Okay,
Now the question is this:
fair enough. He's answered the question. Go ahead, Mr. Victor.
$9,500 in cash is obviously under 10 grand, right?
It is.
And he withdraws that amount of money in cash, right?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that he does that for the purpose to avoid the $10,000 money reporting necessity?
No, I would not.
No?
That's not illegal. It's not an illegal act. It's when that is anything 10,000 or more is
Right.
taken out in multiple increments over a short period of time. That would then trigger what's called a suspicious activity report
Right.
with the bank that ties back into the currency transaction.
And
So
that's why-
that amount alone is not illegal.
And that's why he's taking $9,500 rather than 10,000, because he would have to report it to the IRS.
Your Honor, that's speculation. There's no way that
Wow.
this could.
Well, you're also speculating, but it's actually a good line of questions. I'm just, he has this way of getting too excited because it again implies, well, he why do you need $9,500 in cash? I know Europe is way more digital with cards and stuff like that. You still have more cash payments in the US, but still, it's a decent amount of money, $10,000.
Sustained.
All right. What about those income tax returns that the parties filed jointly?
Those were prepared by Natalie Cochran. They were false documents.
They were false documents.
Yes.
And he signed off on them.
There was no signature by Michael on the documents.
For 2017,
No, there was not.
2018,
No, there was not.
2019.
No, there was not.
And you're telling this court that she filed taxes and he didn't know anything about the income tax returns.
That's correct.
So he himself broke the law by not filing income tax.
If he had known what was being filed.
If he had known, he would have filed taxes.
No, if he had known what was being filed.
Okay. So he didn't have
Not
to sign
really.
the income tax return because his income was zero? Why didn't he have to file income tax return with Natalie?
I'm not saying he didn't have to,
Why didn't he sign those?
because they're done electronically now. You don't even have to sign them. One person could fill them out and file them electronically. He doesn't have to sign it. Now, the law requires that all tax preparers review their documents that they're filing, but
And he reviewed them and he had absolutely no idea what Natalie was.
Yeah, this, you can't have it either way. Well, he didn't sign them, but he has to agree with them, or he broke the law. Imagine if he had been alive today for the Ponzi scheme and said, I didn't know anything about it, but there was the tax filings. Yeah, I didn't look at them. Well, that's against the law. You're guilty, brother.
Doing with the taxes and with the bank losses and with, well, the business losses, the business gains, et cetera, et cetera.
I have no idea if he reviewed them. If he had, he would further believe that he had made an extraordinary amount of money. on
Show me,
government contracts.
show me here any income tax return that lists about $4 million by the Cochrans. Can you do that? Can you show this jury?
No, I cannot. I don't have the discovery files and records with me to break
From
out to break out the tax returns that we did recover.
From your thorough investigation of this case, because you said that several times, was there ever an income tax return filed by the Cochrans that would list $239 million? Can you tell the jury that?
I know that there are tax documents that were given as ruses to get bank loans.
From your memory, Mr. Heinzman.
But I cannot say if that figure that Mr. Victor has given me matches those documents.
$239 million. Would that raise some red flags if you ever saw an income tax return from a small West Virginia company filed with the Internal Revenue Service? Would that cause you to pause and consider that?
In what context?
Well, somebody's making $239 million from a business and files that income tax return. I would like to know the details of it.
Are you talking about the IRS would want to know the details, or?
Well, you were investigating their.
I've already answered that question. If I saw that, it's another prop. It's a ruse. It's not unsubstantiated by financial records, income records, state databases, federal databases. It would just, to me, that if I saw that.
So you have
it would
no
be another
idea.
prop.
So you have no idea as you sit here today to tell this jury how much money Mr. and Mrs. Cochran were making and how much money they were reporting true as you sit here right now? Can you or can you not?
It's a very broad question.
Well, how much money did they make in 2018? Can you tell this jury whether they made millions or whether they made a couple of $1,000s here and there?
2018.
Yeah.
Are we talking about legal income or illegal income?
Income tax return. Remember?
The income tax returns that we reviewed were submitted not to the IRS because that would have got red flagged, but to people that they wanted to borrow money for to demonstrate the value of the company.
So now you're telling us that Natalie didn't file income tax in 2018?
My recollection was that there had not been income taxes. No, let me correct that. The income tax documents that we recovered had been doctored to show greater income because they were used for other purposes. The actual income tax that was filed, which presumably would have been legitimate, we did not review.
I see. Now,
He said from the income, or from the tax, blah, blah, we recovered. Don't you just call up the IRS and say, hey, we need her taxes for the last 5 years? They'll just pull it in the system in Denmark. They just call up our IRS and say, hey, we have a suspicion. Can we get the last 5 years? And of course, you'll have to go through the judge and stuff like that. But whatever we could find.
okay, if I may have a second.
You may have 2 and no more. Then lunchtime, then closing, then jury home, verdict watch tomorrow.
I don't think I have any more questions of this witness.
All right, redirect Mr. Truman.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Very well. Mr. Hudson, you may step down, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum.
Copies or exhibits?
I think we've got the exhibits spread all around. Let's make sure that we collect them. Give everything to the clerk and she can sort them.
38. We got them, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's part of it. Fell off.
Part of it?
It fell off.
If it's a copy, no, I don't need it.
This fell off of here. That's part of 38.
Let me inquire, Mr. Truman, will there be further witnesses in rebuttal?
Your Honor, state rest.
All right, will the defense have any rebuttal evidence? Certainly.
Yeah, he's really a bad witness. He's not as bad as he was the first time around, but he gets flustered. That's what I gathered, yes. When they filed for the IRS, it was correct. But then they fuffled the numbers for the investors.
The defense rest likewise.
All right, members of the jury, you've heard it from the lawyers themselves. This is the completion of all the evidence to be presented before you. The next phase of the case will be the instructions of the law by the court. I will read the instructions to you. That's one thing that we have been working on to try to get a leg up and get ahead of the game, so to speak. We've pretty much settled on the instructions, and so we should be ready to go this afternoon. We've worked into the traditional lunch hour, and so be back in your jury room at 1:30. That'll give you a little extra time for lunch. We will commence hopefully with the instructions at that time and argument of counsel thereafter. So although we are winding down and although we have completed the presentation of the evidence before you, the case is not over. It would be improper for you to discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else at this time. Please enjoy your lunch. Do not do any research. Do not read anything online in the newspaper or on TV, and be back, please, in your jury room a little bit before 1. Hopeful that you can have a working lunch.
Yeah, he's very biased. I just hope that he gives them a time limit. That's why I'm hanging around.
All
I wanna
right,
hear time limit.
Mr. Truman, I'm hopeful that you can have a working lunch and maybe go through the charge while you eat your sandwich.
I'll take care of, yes, I'm on page 8.
I
Okay,
have them done.
all right, thank you.
So far, there's only been a couple little things to check on.
All right. Maybe we can come back at 1:15, so we'll have 15 minutes to make any corrections.
I think that should do it.
All right, and then
From
we
a safe
can
perspective.
start out on time. I don't want to
You weren't
delay
told.
the jury anymore if we can help it. Is there anything further on behalf of the defense that we need to discuss?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, we'll break for lunch, and if you can, be back at 1:15 so we can take up the instructions further.
Should we see if this works today now that nothing really happened so far? Come on, work today. Nope, not working. That's so annoying. I don't know why it's not working anymore. Yeah. That's annoying. Well, not working today. Stop sharing. Shut down. Yes. Close that one. It hasn't been working for a long time. Then we had one good time, and then it doesn't work again. It's because they want to tell. Maybe if Sue gets on the horn and yells at them, it'll work again because they make her angry. But waiting for the interviews, if any, after it's done. Oh, when the case is done, yeah, it could probably be interesting to hear. But it's always at a stupid time. So I'm sleeping when they do the interviews. It's always Sue's fault or Jamie's. But this was the big rebuttal. I don't do a poll now. We're going to do a poll after closing arguments, as we always do. We'll be back at 1:20. Hopefully they will have done their due diligence and gotten everything sorted out. I don't count on it. He will give the first part of the instructions, will probably last 15 minutes. Then there will be closing arguments. Hopefully he'll give them a time limit. I really don't want them to yap on for 2 hours. The opening statements were short, to the point. I think defense should just stick to reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt. The state have to do a lot of lifting because their closing arguments can't be close to what they did in opening statements. They relied so heavy on the Ponzi scheme and claiming he didn't know. And I'm just not sure he didn't know. So it's going to be interesting. Right now, I'm thinking she's going to be found guilty, which would not be fair. A case like this, I would probably take a bench trial because the jury is, it's like grabbing a tiger by its tail. Most of the time, not a great idea. But if you just had a judge, especially because this is so circumstantial, I think I would have preferred a bench trial. I'm curious what the lessons would be. They only argued first with premeditated. If they going for not bringing him to the hospital in time, or at least 4 others are just as guilty. I think I heard earlier that they were talking involuntary manslaughter. If they can go all the way from first degree to involuntary manslaughter, the DA should be fired on the spot. I don't look tired. I slept 7.5 hours last night. I woke up all befuddled and thought, what's going on? And it was 8 o'clock. So I had to get up, do my recap video before I hit the gym. And then I had to go to the post office because I had to return one of my gifts and I couldn't do that. It was a whole lot of mess. And so, no, I slept great. They also claimed he was a healthy 200-pound fit guy during opening. They simply forgot about the multiple hospitalizations. What's a little black mold in your spinal cord? Are you one of those weak people who can't survive? Don't you live off asbestos and lead paint? Come on now. Yeah, I'm thinking bench trial would have been better. I don't know what the rules are. He involuntarily injected him. Yeah, if they had gone with that, said, well, she used to inject him with his roids and she did it wrong that time. That's involuntary manslaughter. I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Verdicts all around me. And so the feeling grows. I watched that movie 2 weeks ago. Still a funny little movie. I just look like shit. You're right, Zach. Yeah, but I've been burned more than once by these people. Thank you so much, Calliope Nikitas. That sounds Greek. We don't have many Greek people here. Yeah, what's a few seizures and brain swellings between friends? Defendant chooses between jury and bench trial. Yeah, then she made a mistake. She wanted a speedy trial. That was smart because they don't have any evidence, and then they can't produce any more. Oh, by the way, while I'm eating, I will try and look and see if that stabulator case, if they have chosen a jury, because this will go to the jury today. I don't know if the jury will start deliberating today or tomorrow, but it start a new trial. It's what we do, because no days off is what Jamie says when I ask, can I have some days off? And then I say, please, sir, can I have some more? And she says, some more of this. Jamie's mean if you didn't know that. But come back in roughly an hour and we'll do part 2. Hasta la taco.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't have cared.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
So there-
Everybody has.